Now I really had some thinking to do. At this point, I felt like I was done with the industry. I had had enough. If I wasn't treading water, then I was abused. And what happened was I got to thinking about another studio. The thing with Studio A, when there were cuts and people went elsewhere to find work, they always came back. And I figured that was a good clue of how good a place it was, and part of why I had stayed loyal to them for so long. But in my last 2 years with Studio A, there were some people who had moved on to a new studio that had started up. We'll call them Studio C. And the odd thing was, when people went to Studio C, they never came back to Studio A. And so after my experience at Studio B, thinking about the situation with people going to Studio C, I thought, well, maybe I can give it one more shot. I came so close to leaving the industry just because I was sick of it. And I gave this studio, Studio C, a shot just to see. One more try. And that was good. Studio A took care of its people up to a certain point, but Studio C, they brought it up a notch, or a few notches anyways. So when I applied, I think I had talked to a few of the animators that were working there, and I managed to get something of an interview with a supervisor. And so I remember going through the studios, seeing some people I knew, and remember sitting down in the office, his office, chatting away, and at some point he said something, well, I don't know if you've heard much about what we do here and how we work. And I remember telling him, well, I hear you take good care of your people, but I assume that also means we have to earn our keep. And he said, that's a good way to think about it. So that got me in, I think, and I suspect that he may have asked around with some of the people I had worked with before, see what they thought of me. I know there was a supervisor there under who I had worked before. I assume he put in a good word for me. Anyways, I got in. I was a big fish in a small pond at Studio A and B. And when I started working at Studio C, the level of talent that surrounded me, it was humbling. I came to realize how much I still had to learn, and that was good. It was refreshing for me to feel like, that wasn't it, that there was more to it, and I was happy just to be part of the team. So working with these people, I got better. My animation leveled up, week after week, month after month. Well, there were a few bumps in the road there. I don't know that they doubted what I could do, but I needed some improvement. My work needed improvement. But eventually I got there, I think. And so as I evolved, I moved up, I learned new things. One thing I should say about Studio B is, as bad as an experience as it was, it at least was an opportunity to learn the new software that I would be using basically from that point on in my career. So at least I got to learn that. That's at least one good thing I can say from there. But the working conditions were not worth it. So I did decide to move on.